Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to go over a new feature that Microsoft's rolled out for Microsoft Excel, and that is the ability to import data from a picture. And so on the data tab, there's now an option to select from picture, where you can select from a file or from even the clipboard. So you don't even have to save it as a file, you can just do a copy and paste, or just a copy really, and then it's on your clipboard. So if you don't see this option, that just means you need to be on Office 365, and you may also need to be on the Office Insiders program. I'll leave a link in the description for this video to show you how you can sign up for that. All it means is that you'll just get some of these features before the full rollout of them to the whole Office 365 user base. So I'm going to test this out using some pictures. And so a good place I'm going to start with is an earnings report. So for example, here I've got Walmart's most recent earnings. We've got text on the one side. We've got numbers on the other side. And what I'm going to do is use my snipping tool here to just sort of grab some of these values here just to see how well it pulls in the data. So now I'm going to hit Control C. It's in my clipboard. And now when I select from picture from clipboard, you can see it's analyzing the image. And now I can hit insert data. It's going to ask me to review some items, and this is just some of the things it's not really sure of. So making sure that these numbers are correct. So you can see one of the challenges here, it's reading these commas as periods. So potentially, you may need to do some adjusting, like this one read it correctly. So I'm not going to go through all that. Instead, I'm just going to insert the data, insert anyway. And so we can see that, it did a pretty decent job. We've got everything in the right sort of column. We've got the current year here. We've got the previous year here. One thing that does look off is some of these are not formatted as numbers because we've got some spaces in here, so there might still be some formatting that you need to do. And really, this can also come down the accuracy of this depending on what's included in your picture. When I did this earlier, I screen capped a bit of a wider picture. So if I go back to my example here for Walmart now, let's do a screen cap now of this white space as well, including the headers and everything. So we got a more complete picture. Let's see if it still can do a good job at pulling that in, because it was fairly good here, putting it into right columns. So let's go from picture again, from clipboard. And so now we see it's got those headers. Insert data. Now it's got 31 items to review. Let's insert it anyway. And so you can see it looks like it still did okay. The headers are not necessarily in the right spot. We've got it didn't seem to pick up one of those headers, but it's got 2022, it's got 2021, so it seems to be okay. The problem is now these are not aligned. They're not on the same line. So if I go back to my earlier one, this one actually did a bit better because everything was at least on the right line. Obviously, sales is not aligned here. These items don't exactly match up perfectly, but as far as being the numbers being on the same line, they were pretty good. So I think the key is trying to narrow in so you specifically have the numbers, as opposed to just including a broad picture with a lot of white space and headers that can, make it difficult for the software to analyze it. Another thing I'm going to try is Walmart's earnings presentation. So here it's got a PDF, and it's got a summary of the main numbers from the past quarter. And so, let's see if it does a better job at this one, where the numbers are larger and it's more evident that they are. So now we'll copy this again into the clipboard. Start a new sheet here. Data from clipboard again. And so it analyzes pretty quickly, not taking a whole lot of time. Here we can see the numbers. It's got all of them in here. Insert data has only got 4 items to review. Well, let's insert that anyway. And so compared to our clipboard here, I mean, it seems to have done a pretty good job as far as getting everything, even the percentages. So a nice, closer picture of everything. It seems to be fine. Some of these headers probably could have been fixed if I did that review process. But for the most part, it looks to be doing a better job, especially when you've got a clear picture, like with the earlier one that I had that was pulling in from the SEC report. Though there was more color on that, more ability to distort it. So I think by having a cleaner picture like this, where you don't have any extra highlighting, where the numbers are bigger, it's easier for the software to pull that out. So it's an interesting new feature that Excel's added. I'm not sure offhand if it has a whole lot of value, because you may have to still take on these manual steps, but it's definitely interesting. And as the software potentially gets better, I mean, this could be a bit improved even more. But this is something that you'll want to look out for in the latest version. And again, if you don't have it yet, you may want to sign up for that Office Insiders program if you want to test it out yourself.